being here. This is a very eclectic conference. Out of all the conferences I speak, Jeff just is hands off. That gives a lot of freedom to do some great things, and I run stuff by him, and he's always, yeah, go for it, go for it. So for those of you who don't know, I do InvisiblePeople.tv, which is changing the story of homelessness. My main Twitter feed is Hardly Normal. Invisible. Change over to that.
Somebody's mic is
and thought I'd do a little update. In 2009, Anne Marie, who was homeless, joined me on the stage at Los Angeles 140 conference. And last year, RD, Lost Awareness, joined me, who is also homeless, and I thought I'd give you a little update on what's going on with them. Okay. Marie, I was coming through Chicago, and Anne Marie tweeted at me. She's Pad Chicago. Interesting because she was homeless, and we hooked up, did her story on InvisiblePeople.tv, and then she spoke at the 140 conference in Los Angeles, the first one, as a homeless person. And now, let's tell the 140 conference, where are we at?
I am now, because of Twitter and all the support I've received, it has helped to inspire me and get into support of permanent housing.
Yeah, so Anne Marie, Pad Chicago, is no longer homeless. Thank you, 140 conference. Thank you, 140.
Hello!
Hi, how are you? Hey, everybody. On 140 community, this is RD. You might remember her from last time.
Lost Awareness.
Lost Awareness on Twitter at the 140 conference. She spoke on stage, but you were homeless then.
I was.
And now, where are you?
I'm at home.
You're at home.
I'm at home. Look at this.
And how'd this happen? Briefly. This got to be a short
This happened through social media. It happened from my appearing at the 140 conference. It happened from me tweeting. It happened from me connecting with him. It happened from him connecting with skip1.org and Shalene Bryan. Hence, I have a home. Short enough?
Yeah, good enough. So thank you, 140 community, and thank you, Jeff Pulver, for just believing in what Invisible People does and the homeless cause.
And for Jeff Pulver hugs.
Oh, yes, he's the best hugger.
Yes.
So one thing that after I started InvisiblePeople.tv, I started empowering homeless people. I mean, it's going to happen anyways, but I'm just expediting it a little bit. Because homeless services is broken. As you've heard today, consumers have the power of brands, but, nonprofits aren't listening to homeless people. Just recently was talking the last interview in Hollywood. LAPD's waking people up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Nobody even knows about it. But if homeless people were able to tweet it, so I started something called wearevisible.com. It's a bunch of tutorials, but behind the scenes, it's actually a community. So here's a couple of this is RD's original story that she was housed over Twitter. Now she actually, notice the shirt, now she actually goes and teaches homeless people computer skills and social media. There is a veteran in Carson City living in a trailer with his family, no bathrooms, real horrible situation. He says, back then I thought no one cared, we were homeless, then I met Hardly Normal, and Project 50/50 is another homeless advocate traveling the country. And here he cashed in. I have a flyer that people can print out. I thought churches and nonprofits would distribute it. But homeless people start becoming the advocates, the evangelists. This is them. One of the coolest things that I think ever happened was that this is a homeless boy. He's 13 years old. He had a PSP, if you know what that is, a little video game. He was bootlegging the Wi-Fi from a neighbor. So it doesn't really have a keyboard, so he could only say like little things. So he'd get on my Facebook page and go, hi, hugs. And it was just breaking my heart. Oh my gosh. And then his mom tweeted me that he took Tony Hawk's picture on the PSP and replaced it with my Facebook. You know what I mean? So I had to go meet him. So I took him out to dinner. It's the first time they've been out to dinner for about 2 years. There's a Baskin Robbins across the street. We take it for granted. He'd never been to Baskin Robbins. This was his tweet. He said, it's to me, thank you for everything. Last night was the best night of my life. Hugs. What was really cool is Tony Hawk got wind of it. And this is Tony Hawk tweeting to him, "What's up, Kiefer? Please DM me your clothing and shoe size and address, and I will send you some stuff." Now, the mom didn't like it, but I thought it was cool. Tony Hawk sent him a skateboard and iPod Touch and clothes. So you got to imagine, you're a homeless kid in school. All of a sudden, you're not cool. But now you're walking in with an autographed Tony Hawk skateboard. I mean, that's pretty amazing. But Carey, come out, please. Carey, she blogged on change.org about being a homeless mom, and she did it anonymously, and I kind of begged the editor to connect me, and she ignored me for a long time. But Carey, if you follow these two feeds, the We Are Visible or the Facebook pages, it's Carey managing it, and she's a homeless mom from Seattle.
Is this on? Can you hear?
You're on.
I have to say, when I first started this, I had no idea what Twitter was. I didn't know what social media was, and Mark's right. When I met him through change.org, I thought, I don't know who this guy is. He's nuts. But what got me hooked was the fact that I saw the impact he made on people, and I saw how fast your story will travel around the world via the internet, Twitter, Facebook, be what it is. And the people who reached out to me, that said more to me than any advertisement marketing scheme could. And the fact that people took the time to read what I write still amazes me. But again, everybody has a voice. And one of the things about homelessness is, as Mark says, you quickly realize how fast you become invisible to the masses. But through We Are Visible, it really gives you a voice. It gave me a voice. It gave me an opportunity to reach out to everybody to say, look, we're not stereotypes. We are not less of a human being because of homelessness, and homelessness will not define you. So I have to say thank you for everyone at the 140 conference for bringing me here. Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Jeff Pulver.
We actually crowdsourced her to get here. Carey's just amazing. And one thing that Carey taught me was being, a homeless mom with two kids, one teenager and one younger, is childcare. I mean, childcare is more expensive than rent. There's another homeless mom here. Stephanie, would you stand up, please? This is at SingleSteph380. What I love about Stephanie, you got to turn around so people can see who you are. What I love about Stephanie, and we connected through the We Are Visible community that's forming. What I love about Stephanie is that she's going through a really hard time, and how she's getting over it is by helping homeless teens here in New York City. So instead of living in her crisis, she's out there helping other people, and just today she got accepted to cooking school. So at the party after, I'm telling you, she's really aggressive on pitching this homeless youth. So she's going to come up and talk about stand-up and kids, and it's really amazing. But Carey is just, her transmission went on a van. And if you're a homeless, I mean, come on, you know what it's like when you have car problems. And when you're homeless and you rely on it, she wrote a book and published it on Kindle to raise money to, car repair. Tell us about this book.
Basically, writings from the driver's side, as I've told people, because one of the interesting things that people assumed about me was I must have a mental health component, I must be an addict, or I'm lazy. The truth of it is I don't drink, I don't smoke, never did drugs, I don't have a mental health component. I've worked 2 jobs basically since I was 12 years old. The system pretty much failed. Where I'm at, there's no Section 8, and resources are scarce because the system was never built to handle the numbers of homelessness we're seeing now. This book came out because it was the only thing I could think of while sitting behind the steering wheel of my mini Winnebago, which is where we lived. And the only way I could vent it without going crazy was to write poems. And even now, when something happens, I've already started a poem about this conference and the people I've just met out on the street here in New York City. But if you take a look at my writings, you'll see where I'm coming from. I always write from where I'm at at the time that I'm writing it, what I see. And this book really is just my viewpoints poetically through the window on the driver's side, through the steering wheel. Because, you know, really, we're all in control of our lives. We're the ones doing the driving, steering. And so that's where it came from.
I totally, just amazing. So I'm going to close with this. This is a link to the video that you saw of Anne-Marie and RD. And if you guys could all tweet that out and show the world that, you know, with this thing called social media, we can affect real positive change. So, you know, we all have a choice today. And, you know, we have this thing called an iPhone or a Droid or an Android or a BlackBerry. And we have power. We have real power to make a difference. And I just want to thank you guys, because it's really you. You guys are InvisiblePeople.tv. You are We Are Visible, because you're the fuel that keeps us all going. So thank you very much.
Oh, come on. Wow. Can I have 1 second? Sure. One more applause for this guy, please. He's really...
Get a Jeff Pulver hug. Give many of them.
Oh, thank you. Mark, thank you.